years to see a result. I heard him. It didn't take 22 years to wake up. It takes 22 years of waiting to see if the people was ready to be liberated from the oppression. If you go back to his Clinton Correctional Facility, he already told you, if I'm not successful, this next dude ain't gonna be so kind. He not gonna have no compassion. I had it until going through the process of trying to wake y'all up. Now it seems like there's more people want to be a goddamn fool. Fuck them. They can get it. White, black, or indifferent, it don't matter to me. I'm going to treat them all the same. If you righteous, you righteous. If you wicked, you wicked. You're going to get the same treatment. And just like Father Flager. I don't like calling nobody father, but I'm just going to honor that because of the code of the priest. And we have to call a priest of another order by the title that order bestows on that priest. And we literally supposed to greet priest to priest with a kiss. It's got nothing to do with sexuality. It has to do with your recognition of God in that other person. So if you see Farrakhan kissing Father Flager, don't got nothing to do with sexuality. That mean they ain't even thinking about no fruity shit. That ain't even on their mind. They thinking about how we gonna get y'all out of this crap y'all in. Brother Crumb, if you're watching, I hope you pay attention to what I just said. It's the order of the priesthood that in the love of the Christ, when you meet another priest that you consider righteous, you must greet him with a kiss. It's in the books. Go look it up. It's in there where it stated that he kissed him up on his cheek. And he kissed him up on his lips. They're not talking about no gay shit. It's a priest to priest greeting of righteousness. It has nothing to do with sexuality. But because of what the rape campaign did to our minds, we automatically go there with it. When we see what the gay agenda did, we automatically go there. We ain't got nothing to do with that. It don't have anything to do with sexuality. It's all about righteous, recognizing righteous. That's all it got something to do with. Now, they do have sex rights that ain't right. They were brought down here by Enlil to disrupt the pattern of matriarchal structure. And some of those things is the sex with little boys by grown men. When he laid that down in Rome, if I would have been doing then, I would have done it. Because you don't do that to little boys. Little boys are not sex toys for men. Nor little girls for that matter. But y'all got to understand the difference between a little girl and a young woman, because they got y'all confused as to what they are. They don't even have the same term. When you're talking about a child molester, you're talking about a pedophile. If you talk about somebody post-puberty, that's called a hebephile. It's not even the same thing, but they got it all grouped together with all this other stuff while they push this gay agenda so there's nobody to protect these women. I mean, like, the whole structure is off. And it starts with the judicial system is what's holding it all in place. So once I get the workers compensated at Orion, now y'all want to push this? Y'all want to see this stuff get on the road? All y'all got to do, start calling the newspapers saying that a prime stockholder with major stock in all three, a stakeholder, you can't say stock, stake, S-T-A-K-E, a prime stakeholder in Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler is demanding all three of them report to Orient Assembly for a correct adjustment of the contract in favor of the workers. Call every reporter in every newspaper. They gonna be shook up, but they already know I'm here. But they're not gonna think. They don't think y'all gonna do anything to facilitate y'all own liberation. They think I'm gonna have to fight every step of the way, uphill battle alone, like I always had to do in the past. The only difference is this time I'm not doing it that way. I'm letting everybody who want righteousness be righteous, and everybody that want wickedness, they can go. If you want to be on the side of righteousness, I'm going to roll with you to the end. If you want to be on the side of the wicked, I'm going to cut you down just like you need to be cut down. There ain't no middle ground in this. Remember, the book say you can't be lukewarm. I mean, you can't be lukewarm. You got to either be flaming hot or ice cold. You either got to be righteous, flaming hot, or frozen wicked. And I don't have no compassion for the wicked at all. For what they've done to the children and the minds of the people, what they do in their reincarnation cycle to erase the memory, the torture techniques that they use between lives that y'all have no clue of because they make sure you don't remember shit. And the circumcision of the child is what they don't tell you is to erase the last bit of memory. They need that pain to erase the last bit of memory, so they're going to cut off part of their Peter. Now look at them rabbis over there sucking on it after they cut it off. You know something ain't right because it's the blood and the rights. They're exercising the blood right to keep them in power to oppress us. I mean, this is where we at. Y'all can either, we can get from under it or we can tear it up. It don't matter to me. I came here to fight a war anyway, but I have to exhaust all measures of diplomacy first. So I'm gonna scroll down one last time before I exit this video to see if I have any questions to answer, because it looked like some comments that came in. Yes, Lisa, you got that. We are Farrakhan. It's a spiritual warfare. Let's grow. Let's grow. Fire. I love that. So, Naranda, she's right. The last comment, she's on there. Lisa, can you get with her? She want to know. I told her to become familiar with you so that she can get in on the doula center. Naranda Dawkins is her name. All right. And so, yeah. So the call to righteousness for this day and era is we are Farrakhan. That's the call for righteousness. We are Farrakhan. It don't got nothing to do with Farrakhan. Whether you like him or not becomes irrelevant to the call for righteousness and liberation. And the fact that some of us don't like him make it even more powerful that we be liberated. We got to have a unifying point. We have to have a particular structure. Farrakhan has both of those. And I had to have a leader. Like, for instance, I was giving T.D. Jakes. I found a wobble in his character. I couldn't work with him. And there's nothing they could have did to make me work with T.D. Jakes. He have a wobble in his character. He know what it is. And that's why we blew that church up. That's his warning. Y'all can let him know that God sent him a warning to straighten up the wobble. And go to Geno Jenkins to learn how to be a righteous Christian. And every Christian preacher that y'all have, send them to Geno Jenkins, or I don't know how to say it, Geno Jenkins or Jennings. I can't remember. I always say his name wrong. But that brother, not always right, but his heart is righteous. You got to remember, you don't necessarily have to be right to be righteous because of what was done to us. You only have to try to follow what you say you believe to the letter. And you're going to fall sometimes, and that's the art of forgiveness. Because just like we forgive us our trespasses, we get those who trespass against us. Just as we need to be forgiven for our transgressions, we have to be willing to forgive others. So that's why we fall on the path to righteousness, so we can learn forgiveness. Gratitude changes everything. Be grateful to be here. It's a lot of people that don't even have to be here right now and came to see this grand finale. Ask Barbara Marciniak. She know. She's a Pleiadian. They came to see the grand finale, the Pleiadians. And I talked to a few of them that some of them didn't even realize they was Pleiadians. And when I mentioned it, it made memories of the Pleiades planet that they come from come to their mind, and they're scared, some of them. So I try not to tell people where they're from, but it's certain ones, like one of the princesses from the Pleiades that I talked to, in one of my groups. She didn't even realize that she was a princess, and that she came to see the grand finale. And then I seen some of her sisters. But I haven't talked to her in a while. But I was so happy to see her, I started crying. She didn't even know I was crying while I was typing her, because I hadn't seen her in millennia. But and I trained her in 2 incarnations to be a priestess. Then you have people that came from Arcturus to help us. The Aldebarans that came to help us. Everywhere you can think of. The Procyonis. Our ancestors came from Sirius and Orion to help us. A lot of people came from everywhere to see this. This is not just a human endeavor. This is a magnificent galactic proportions. This is, in the galactic sense, this is bigger than WrestleMania, the Super Bowl, and the NBA finals all rolled into one. It's bigger than all that rolled into one on the galactic scale, because I already overthrew him up there. They want to see when I be crowned. They want to see when the righteous finally get control again of this planet, and Atlantis is returned to its former glory. They all came to see it. They all did their part, and they all want to see that it goes how it's supposed to go. So this video is a little bit behind schedule, so I'm going to do some invites right quick and see if we can get online here. Which one is invites? That's not the invites. So the title of this one is The Judgment of Solomon. And there were 2 women. Now, if you remember when King Solomon first came to power, he ended up having a dispute over a child by 2 women. One woman was going to allow Solomon to sever the child in half. And the other woman was like, no, it's not going to happen. Let her have that child so we don't have to split that child down the middle. Right? So when we look at all of the wisdom of Solomon, and what is his judgment in this matter? What is he using to measure, from the standpoint of wisdom, how he would divide this child up between these 2 women? And do a couple more invites, and then we're going to be off analyzing Solomon's judgment of the 2 women. Now, the story has it that during the night, one of the women rolled over on her baby. Both of them were new mothers. And the baby died in the night, and so she switched babies. This is what the narrative is, that we going into this judgment scenario between these 2 women and this child. So they go to Solomon to settle this dispute as to whose child that this was. Now, Solomon is a young king, fresh on the throne, and this is going to be his first display of judgment, where the people get to determine if his judgment is a righteous and just judgment, or if it's a presumptuous and unjust judgment. So Solomon ordered the soldier, he says, sever this baby in half and give each woman their share, right? So the one lady didn't, she was like, cool, she was good with the cutting the baby in half and giving her to other woman her half and giving her her half. So that would have mean 2 dead babies and 2 2 childless mothers. But the other lady, she was like, no, it don't work like that. She can have a baby if we have to cut the baby in 2. If we have to separate this child, then let her have her. I'll suffer rather than let her kill this baby on account of her selfishness and her greed. Now, I'm almost done with my invites. Got a couple more here. And we should be good. That looks like it. All right. And so when we go dealing with what is the measure of this judgment of Solomon, and what is he looking at? This is what Solomon is looking at. This woman who was so selfish she would allow this baby to die, that's not his real mother. But that lady that would sacrifice herself and her desires for the welfare of the child, that's that child's mother. Now, in the closing of the age, in the dawning of a new age, the child always becomes a ritualistic part of the picture because of the whole widow giving birth scenario. It has to be a child at the center of every one of these dramas, and that's why you always see the baby Jesus in the Catholic Church when you see it in the background. Now, so the judgment part, he was able to determine from what a mother is. So you got to know what a mother is in order to know what a mother is not. So Solomon, his mother took care of him, looked out for him, made sure he even achieved conquest of the throne, because he had other brothers that contended with him for the throne. But Solomon was the one that they found worthy to hold the throne, and he became the wisest of all of the kings. Now, all these stories are metaphoric, prophetic, historical. And what I mean by that, they are metaphors. They have similarities to something that takes place in real life. They are historical in that they were written a long time ago, and they are prophetic because they speak of things which would be coming around the close of the age. And so we're looking at this judgment scenario of what these mothers are doing. Now, this being Father's Day, and this being the motivator for the video, is that there's a lot of fathers who will do anything for their children. And then the mother has nothing to offer the child and want to hold the child hostage from the father. That will not be tolerated in this upcoming regime. They use them for poker chips. See, then they call him a deadbeat dad because they want to use the child for a poker chip as opposed to looking out for the interest of the child. What people are not realizing with their selfishness and their greed in this closing of the age is the children are the ones that are suffering, and that's your future. If you don't want your future to turn out to be a good future, you don't raise your child well, and you guarantee to get exactly what you asked for. And so, to come down here to see if the complaints, the grievances is legitimate, from fathers to mothers to children, everybody's complaint is legitimate. And everybody's complaint, if had not been for the deceptions involved, would have just cause to destroy everything on here, because there's some rotten people on this planet, and there's more of them than it's not. Everybody's so selfish and self-centered.